Lombardi sweep. If you're reading the title, you can see that the Packers were who we thought they were. We've been talking about how this Packers team is severely overrated, and look at that, they came out flat. With me, Trevor Land, Luke Reimer, Janet Wilson. I'm Zach Bruner. Let's recap last week. What a joyful way to kick off the NFL season. And then we'll preview the Monday Night Football game against the Lions at home. Packers favored by like 11.5 at this point. But, okay. So, a big chill, a big good. So the Packers went to Jacksonville to play the New Orleans Saints. Our keys to victory, at least I remember what mine were. It was like we need to win at the point of attack, offensive and defensive line. And we did it.
Real quick, can we have a competition? Like, post the timestamp that you think Zach's going to blow up, and the winner gets like a Packer socks or something. That would be fun.
Get autographs from all four of us.
I would say lower the better, but we'll see. The Saints didn't even blitz the Packers' offensive line. They got pressure with a 3-man rush, and all they had to do, it was brilliant. Bring one rusher at Billy Turner to engage with him, and then they knew Royce Newman would come and pick off Billy Turner, leaving a free rusher to go at Aaron Rodgers. For the people who are now being offensive line analysts, Peter Bukowski, there are two takes going around Packers Twitter right now. One, Elton Jenkins can indeed walk on water. And two, Royce Newman is not a good football player. And I'm not letting people who are late to the party come into the party. We know Royce Newman's bad at football. We've said Royce Newman's bad at football. We said it before the draft. We said it during the draft. We said it after the draft. But Pro Football Focus disagreed, and Pro Football Focus apparently knows best. But Pro Football Focus is eating their words a little bit now. Royce Newman, worst graded offensive lineman in the game. Worst graded offensive player was Aaron Rodgers, and of course, Aaron Rodgers had a terrible game. I guess my first question to you guys, so I don't rant here, because I'm going to stay cool and collected the entire time. We'll start with Trevor. What if you had to place blame on one area the most? And obviously there's blame to go everywhere on this team for that loss. Like, there was no one person at fault, no one group at fault. But what was the biggest demise for this team in week one?
Oh, man, that's tough. I really want to say the point of attack. Like, obviously that's two. So if I had to pick one, I'd say the offensive line. I mean, it was horrible. Like, Aaron Rodgers did not have a good game. Like, I will not defend that. He did not have a good game. At the same time, there was one play that I saw, and I immediately thought of Zach. When they were in the red zone, I think it was 17-3 at that point. The Packers were down. They looking like they were going to score a touchdown. I don't think the Saints even sent a blitz. I think it was just 4. Newman completely whiffed. Looked like he couldn't block a man with cinder blocks for feet. Hit Rodgers. He was going down, forced to throw, interception, went all the way down the field, like into the red zone. Yeah. It was horrible. He just whiffed. And obviously Aaron Rodgers shouldn't be forcing that football and this stuff, but that's what happened all game. Like, they couldn't block anybody. And obviously Aaron Rodgers wasn't great, but he can't be anywhere near normal Aaron Rodgers with an offensive line like that. So if I had to put the blame on one thing, it would be the offensive line, because defense was bad, but if you can't score points, it doesn't even matter.
Kind of bouncing off of that, it's tough to get plays going when there's guys in the backfield within a half a second of the play. And it's really tough to coach around that. You know, I think we vastly never mind. I think we rated it right, but we said to everyone that Aaron Rodgers has a special ability to set up blocks for him. You can't set up blocks for you when guys get there before the ball snapped.
Royce Newman was like foaming at the mouth running at Aaron Rodgers. He was juking Royce Newman before the defender.
He has rabies.
He might be blinded by rabies, and that's why he can't block anybody.
Right. That's a title. Royce Newman has rabies, but go on, Luke.
I think that just like that, Trevor, point of attack. If you can't get a run game going, you can't base a pass off a run game. If you can't get a pass game going, you can't base a run off a pass game. If you can't get anything going, you can't base anything off of anything. You can't base a defense off an offense off of a defense. I didn't think the defensive line was anything spectacular. I didn't think corners were anything spectacular. I will flip.
Nori was everywhere, though.
You're right. Well, he has 3 guys, if you guys remember our last show. But I will flip this the other way, and I would say the one good thing that I saw out of the Packers was Jordan Love. I thought he played fine.
Janet, you go. I'm not commenting on that.
Yeah, but you got mad at that. He was
Yeah, good.
All right, I would say Aaron Rodgers' crotch. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if you guys saw that story.
It's a kid show, Janet. Come on.
Apparently, whatever happened to him there. Now, I would say defense as well, the defensive line, because, I mean, obviously, our defense has never been great, and we were fine. Well, not fine. I wouldn't say fine, but we did pretty good last year just with the offensive line, racking up those points. So yeah, I would have to say once that offensive line falls, I can't talk because everything's congested. Once that offensive line falls, we're completely screwed. We need that offensive line. So once the offensive line falls, it's like completely over. Having a shitty defense, that's like old news for us. If we have a shitty defense, we have a shitty defense. I mean, it's happened. We've done fine with the shitty defense. So I think it's going to be the offensive line.
Did Janet call it? She's as congested as the Packers' backfield with the blocking.
I really am. I can't even talk. Like, nothing's coming out of here.
For the people who are pointing to Aaron Rodgers twice now saying that the offensive line did fine or did good, just know that he's being a really good teammate, and that's that. Like, he's not stupid. Not stupid. That's all I'll say about that. But, like, it's simple math to talk about, like, what went wrong. The Saints rushed 3 people and got ample pressure, which means there's 8 people defending 4 to 5 receivers. 4 receivers. Tough to get separation, tough to find windows to throw. Rodgers had to force it into double, triple coverage constantly because he's under pressure by 3 men rushing, and they're basically sitting back in dime. They're sitting back on their heels, just in zone. It was the easiest defense of all time, and the Packers had no answer because of the running game, or because of the offensive line. And Matt LaFleur hits every time anything goes wrong. It's like the Tampa game. We saw both Tampa games. We saw the Colts game a little bit last year. We saw this one. As soon as something goes wrong on even the first drive, Matt LaFleur hits the panic button. If we can't run to set up the pass, he has no idea what to do. And then at that point, Aaron Rodgers plays hero ball and tries to make throws that aren't there. And, can you blame him for that? Yes. But at the same time, what else is he going to do? I just feel like a lot of things were exposed in this game. Offensive line, Matt LaFleur being the offensive genius, most underrated head coach of all time. I think that was exposed. Just a lot of offensive things. Defensively, we knew we weren't good. Like, that's not a surprise to us, at least us 4. My biggest thing was, and this should be the biggest red flag of all time. All Joe Barry was energy, right? That's the only thing we hired him for. That's the only thing anybody could cite, including Matt LaFleur, of why we hired Joe Barry, who was his number 1 choice after, it is his second choice, really. The defense had no energy. Preston Smith was hanging his head in the first quarter. And if there's no energy, Joe Barry's a dumbass. Like, why is he even there? There's no point. There's going to be energy Monday night playing in Lambeau, divisional game, yada, yada. So people are going to be like, oh, there's the energy that Joe Barry brought to the Packers. Not that it's a packed stadium for the first time. But I don't know. Did you guys notice that? Do you guys think that's as big of a red flag as me? Because they had less energy than under Pettin, who never smiled in his life, you know?
I would love to have Rex Ryan as defense coordinator. I said that
Same.
before. But the Saints found there's a couple ways to beat the Packers, but they found a way is to get long 15-yard methodical drives, running the ball 4 times on, a series right up the middle. Defense gets tired, loses the energy, right? Jacksonville, hot weather, loses the energy. There's a lot of factors that went into losing the energy, and that was made abundantly clear after the kickoff, the damn kickoff to start the game, where linebackers were, both under and over pursuing, never seeming to be in the right spot to make a tackle. The tackle's just made, 4 yards in the backfield when a defensive lineman falls and everything piles up. So I think that's the strategy, that the Saints employed, as well as rushing one guy at Royce Newman in order to break up plays.
I hate to be that guy because I'm going to come off like the prima donna, like 50-year-old dad that coached flag football once and now thinks he owns the keys to the castle on football. But like, where was the pride? Like, you talk about energy. Like, I get it's hot, whatever. These guys just smashed you in the mouth the first possession. No urgency, nothing. Like, nothing at all. Like, you are getting killed, exposed, and nobody's like, you know what? Like, screw you. It didn't seem like it at all. And if you play like that at all, even in the first week, packed stadium or not, you're not going to be at home. And if you can't bring that stadium at home, you're not going to do anything even if you get to the playoffs. It's so disappointing. And the other thing about that defense is like his one thing was blitzing. That was the one thing. He couldn't even do that. So what are we doing? Like, I'd rather have somebody who blitzes and misses 90% of the time than somebody who does neither. It was horrifically bad. I was laughing by the second quarter. It got to that point.
I mean, go watch last week's show. What did we say? Saints offensive line is very good. And I said I was nervous the Packers wouldn't be able to get pressure. And if the Joe Barry defense doesn't get pressure, there's nothing. Like, that's the whole defense is based off of getting pressure and nothing else. So we brought guys, we blitzed, we did what we could, and never got pressure because the Saints offensive line's good. If you do that, you're screwed, especially because, Jair can lock down one person or his zone. And then you have Kevin King, who thinks his zone means he can't leave his specific little boundary. Like, if Deontay Harris runs behind him, he's like, well, that's not in my zone. That's fine. Like, he that's his defense. And,
well, let's say they did get pressure a couple times, but then they parted the Red Seas everywhere. They either cluttered the middle box of like 2 feet and let him run however far he wanted to the outside, or they rushed from the outside and gave him like thing you could run a truck through on the first possession, which was
that's the thing.
Bad.
Like, it's a one-line defense. So, like, you talk about first level, second level, most teams would stack. It's becoming less so in the NFL, and especially in Joe Barry's defense. There's just one line. So it's one of those things where it's kind of an all-out blitz, or if it's not an all-out blitz, there's just one line. If there's one block, there's nobody else until there's a safety. So there's no lineman working up the backer. It's lineman working up to safety. And at that point, what the fuck are we doing? How do you stop anybody? Especially when, the front line is 3 deep Lorries and nobody else.
He got it. If you said 1401 in the chat, you win the signed socks from all 4 of us. DM Zach
socks.
something. Sure, I don't know. But
You'll
it was
get
just,
them.
it was
like
it was
4
bad.
months.
I think
we talked about Pettin, and that was way worse.
You'll probably get those socks in like 4 months, though, considering how long it took for me to get my birthday surprise from Trevor. It took like 2 months. So by the time it circles around all of us, you'll get those socks in 4 months.
Luke?
I was just going to say, I feel like there should be used socks from Zach.
They should be used from Royce Newman. That is something.
Well, they can't be that used then.
There's no chance Royce Newman wears socks when he wears cleats. That's the kind of guy he is.
Hey, Marcus Peters also doesn't, so
after that Florida
same
game.
breed.
Ooh. All humid and hot.
Well, he didn't sweat, so it didn't matter because he missed. But it's just like everybody's like, "Oh, we have Pettin again." It's like, no, we don't, because Pettin wasn't great, but he was at least a bend don't break, and this was just a break consistently until you give up a touchdown.
Well, Penton is a really, really, really smart defensive mind. He knows what he's doing. He just has zero energy, zero like communication skills, zero like he needs really good assistant coaches to do all that, and he didn't have that, which is a problem, and he should be fired for it. That's fine. Joe Barry has no football knowledge. He has nothing of that. He has the same assistant coaches. That's all it is, dude. Like we have We have 33 more games of Joe Barry. We can get through it.
Oh my gosh.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be 33. That's it. Well, that's assuming we don't make the playoffs, I guess. We'll probably
35,
make the playoffs.
35,
Yeah.
or 34 because we're not going to make it next year.
No, we're not. But yeah, defense was bad again. Playing at home in a packed Lambeau, in front of a packed Lambeau crowd, Monday Night Football against a divisional opponent. The defense is going to be up. The defense is going to have energy, and there will be more than one Packers reporter citing Joe Barry for injecting that energy that we saw all offseason into his defense. And if you want to credit him for selling all the tickets, I guess, to do that, whatever. But that's it. Yeah. I don't know. Is there anything else to say about this game specifically?
I saw one of the best highlight films. It had all the Packers highlights.
Was it short?
A couple people had it. It was just a kickoff, but
It was
I
just
thought
Mason.
it was
Oh.
good.
I thought
Yeah,
it was just Mason kicking the field goal and that's it.
Even the field goal, there's probably like 20 missed blocks that we didn't see.
So the Packers haven't scored a touchdown in 3 weeks.
Damn it.
Oh yeah, that is true. Oh my god. Okay, we got to do something
big deal.
superstition wise because there's got to be something up with that.
I washed
Also-
my Rodgers jersey.
Also, there's been different offensive line every single week.
Nah, that can't be it.
No, for 4 new positions on the offensive line.
All of them have Royce Newman in them.
That too. But I mean, like, maybe we could have played the offensive line in the preseason because, that's a position group based off of chemistry and communication in which they don't have. But at least we have Elton Jenkins, who is the greatest thing that has ever graced Lambeau Field. I'm not a hater of Royce, I am a hater of Royce.
Yeah,
I'm not a hater of Elton Jenkins. He's a very good player. Very good player. He's second best lineman on the team, which is good, and top 20 in the NFL. Let's talk about Jermichael Finley. I'm not saying Jermichael Finley needs to be positive or anything about what's going on, but he said he doesn't see that work ethic from Rodgers. He doesn't think Rodgers needs to win or wants to win. I came up today. Why is Jermichael Finley talking, for one? And for two, dude, Rodgers should have just laid him out in so many more slants just to see his head get taken off. Like, this guy sucks. Somebody else talk about him because we know what my thoughts are from the pre-show, and that is he can have another injury. Somebody else. What do you think about Jermichael Finley's comments?
I like Jermichael Finley. I like him as a player. Jermichael Finley, he's part of the media now. I will throw my hand in there. I'm part of the media. We try to get headlines. We do whatever we can to get clicks on a story. We do whatever we can to get clicks on a picture, whatever. This is one way. The way that he's going seems that he will be ostracized by the fans soon, which happened to one Greg Jennings, who is also trying to do this. But Jermichael Finley's a good guy. Didn't have a neck injury, probably be up there for Packer touchdowns all time. But, the neck injury, maybe it worked its way up to the brain a little bit.
Yeah, checking for CTE. Anybody else about this stupid comment?
Yes.
I want to say something real quick. Troy was on our fantasy football show. We told him to tune in. Stay tuned in, Troy. We'll get to Aaron Jones in a sec. I got something to say about him for the Lions game.
So I have this quote. This is from Rodgers a while ago. But this was back the last time Jermichael Finley said, "Hey, I need a purpose in life. Let me act like I'm more relevant than me. I'm literally more relevant than Finley because I at least have a future of doing something positive." Aaron Rodgers, talking about being called a bad leader, he said, "It couldn't have been when I was up in his room every Saturday night before games, going over plays and talking about checks I was going to make and plays where he was going to be the number one read. It couldn't have been when I was at the hospital the night he broke his neck and spent a couple of hours with him. It couldn't have been when I followed up and saw how he was doing." Like, this thing about Rodgers being a bad leader is so overplayed. Like, is he an asshole? Maybe. But like he said, when it is the same two guys, it tells you a lot. And I think it tells you a lot more when it's the two guys who did nothing after they left. And for Jermichael Finley, it's like he's made this known this is who he is. And if Jermichael Finley, if you're Jermichael Finley, if this happened, why are you not saying it? Why are you not going back? Because he very clearly has no problem with talking about Rodgers. So if that stuff wasn't true, he would have clapped back about it. So then we're led to, if that is true, why are you talking out of your ass? And it's just unfortunate that other people have to talk shit about him when they clearly are just mad about Green Bay. Be mad at Green Bay. Like, it's not Rodgers' fault that you sucked outside of Green Bay and or broke your neck.
Yeah.
And he broke it against the Browns, too. Can we talk about this? He broke it against the Browns when they sucked. How much of a bitch do you have to be to get hurt by the Browns from, like, the Colt McCoy era? Get your ass off the turf, okay? I'm sorry.
Agreed. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself.
I also
The Mike Evans at tight ends.
I also believe that was a Mike Pettin-led Browns team.
Mike Pettin was helping us before he even came to Green Bay.
Yeah, what can I say? I respect Mike Pettin. Let's talk about this Detroit Lions game. I mean, this is what I would call a no-win game for the Packers. And what I mean by that is either the Packers do something wrong, they lose, do something, and they get criticized for it, or they destroy them. And yeah, that's what it should be. Detroit is the worst team in the NFL personnel-wise by far. I don't think it's close at all. If they don't beat them, the spread right now is 11.5 points. If they don't beat them by double-digit points, that's a red flag. Like, this is a really, really bad Lions team. They use prevent defense from the 49ers to make the score look respectable. So, with that being said, I mean, this should be a get-right game for the Packers, I guess. But there's nothing to get excited for. The Packers are going to run the football a lot. And Luke, you can talk about Aaron Jones in a second. But when an offensive line has no confidence, when an offensive line gets the piss beat out of them, then you turn around and you run the football. You run the football a lot. It sets up the pass protection later on. It sets the tone and wears down the defensive line. And, oh, by the way, the Lions' defensive front seven sucks. So I would assume Packers run the ball a lot. Jones, Dillon, maybe they even get Kyle Hill in there a little bit after the score gets out of hand, if it gets out of hand. And, there will be plenty of people saying problems solved in Green Bay. It was a wake-up call. Everything's good now. But I don't think there's any positive takeaway you can get from this game.
Yeah, just kind of going to that run game a little bit. With Aaron Jones, this seems like a game that Aaron Jones should have, I think, in my mind, 30 to 35 touches this game. That front seven is terrible for the Lions. It's a big if, but maybe we see a little something out of Royce Newman, out of the right side of the offensive line. They have to run Aaron Jones this game. I think they have to include him in the pass as well. I think this whole offense, this game needs to run through Aaron Jones. He has to be the guy in the offense. That'll set up Devontae. I mean, Devontae will get his. He always does against the Lions. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Zach, you predicted on the Fantasy Football Show, would have a long touchdown, which seems very likely if that run game gets going. It's all predicated on this run game. 35 touches from Aaron Jones. He's probably a top 7 back in the league. So you have to get the ball to your good players, especially when you're in a low spot like this. Detroit just flat out sucks. They are bad at football. They can't pass. They can only pass to their running backs. So there's no worry about them coming back. If I'm the Packers here and I win the coin toss, I'm receiving and I'm running the ball straight, maybe 15 plays in a row, because that's what needs to happen. You need to get this offense back on track somehow, and the best way to do that is through the run. And Troy, I know if you ask us if you should trade for Aaron Jones, you should definitely trade for Aaron Jones just for this game, because he will pay off just for this game alone.
And to your point about Aaron Jones, like, you have to get him going. Like, obviously there were so many problems with New Orleans Saints, but the run game was so bad that I think everybody at home could even tell when it was a play action. And that's when the Packers are at their best, because Aaron Rodgers can, do whatever. But if you can't run, like you said, you can't do anything, especially under Matt LaFleur. And if this team doesn't win this game, it's 2 games, but I think we need to actually question if this team is going to make the playoffs if you lose to the Lions. Because after that, we have the 49ers and the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers might get murdered one of those games. Bengals, Bears, say what you will about that, but then Washington, Arizona, Kansas City, Seattle, Rams, Ravens are in there, Browns. Like, if you can't beat the Lions at home, granted Bakhtiari isn't there, whatever. If you can't beat the Lions, it's not something that Bakhtiari fixes. It's not something that, a defensive change fixes, unless it's Joe Barry being fired. So they better win, because if not, if it's a tie, I give up. Just don't tie, please. At least lose with some dignity if you're going to lose.
To the point about you need to run to set up the pass, I think the key there was under Matt LaFleur, because that's not necessarily true, but under him, you could see the panic on his face when the Packers didn't get like 3 yards on first down running the football. He's like, oh, now I have to get off script. And his, first drive script is usually phenomenal. We saw them score a touchdown on almost every single first drive last season, and we haven't even seen him score a touchdown this season yet. But there's so many things you can do and script up. But for him, his whole offense is run, play action. It's the Shanahan system. That's all he knows. So when that's the case, though, wouldn't you think you would? And hear me out. Maybe you should invest in the offensive line instead of starting.
They did third round pick Royce Newman. Third round.
I think he is 4th or 5th. But to your point, you have the best center in the league. Supposedly he's not, but whatever. Corey Linsley. You need to keep that rapport between the center and the rest of the offensive line, but also with the quarterback. Also, your 2 guards are possibly the 2 worst guards in all of football for starters. I think Lucas Patrick's not the worst, but Royce Newman is the worst.
He may be the worst player.
He might be the worst player. Like let's trade for J.K. Scott back and put him at right guard. I think Trevor's Wi-Fi might be out again.
He's frozen.
Okay, you realize it. Is he back? Maybe? Okay, we'll move on. But this Packers offensive line's a serious issue, and I would assume the Packers are in the playoff hunt this year. I'm not panicking on that. But talking about trade deadline, that is something the Packers need to do to get over the hump. They need to improve this offensive line, especially when the team to beat has Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea on the interior offensive line, because that's not going to be pretty when they have to meet the Buccaneers to get to the Super Bowl.
And Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul on the outside too as well.
Or the Rams with Aaron Donald and Brockers, or the Seahawks with their defensive linemen, or the 49ers with Bosa and all of them. There's a lot of good pass rushers and defensive linemen to get through, and they couldn't get through the Saints 3-man rush. So, yeah. Janet, what's your thoughts going into the Week 2 game against Detroit? What's your thinking? What's going to happen?
I'm hoping that they pick everything up. But at this point, I was thinking about this the other day that we were like, we'll see. And then week 1 was like, oh, fuck, we saw. So, like, I really hope that they do pick it up. At least the offensive line, they get it together. I think I'm a little bit more lenient on our defensive line because they've always been the weaker sibling, the weaker link. So I'm a little bit more lenient with them. I'm gonna say I did say let's see with Joe Barry. I'm not a fan of him. I don't know. Like, he doesn't seem like a wise coach. I would prefer a
Yeah.
wise coach. Like, he's just kind of coming out on the field with fire and throwing things, and I get the whole energy thing, but the team did not reflect any of his energy. If anything, if somebody was yelling at me like that on the sidelines, I'd probably be pissed off and just annoyed at this point. But I hope that at least our offensive line racks up those points during the Lions game. And, they don't have Matthew Stafford anymore, so they might not even get anywhere just because all they have is Williams. I mean, he's going to be the only one to shine right now, at least from the Lions team. That's the only one that I know that's going to shine on that team. I don't care for the Lions. They made me really upset last year when they were doing Lambo leaps. So I want them all to burn. But yeah, so I don't care about them. I don't really look up anything about them, whatever. They can go to hell. So I hope that our offensive line kicks their ass.
In the the bird animal kingdom, I think Joe Barry is on the level of Seagull, and we need him kind of as an owl.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. He like every time I see him on the sideline, I just think he looks like the oldest toddler I've ever seen. Like, his face looks like a baby. He's just kind of wandering around. It's something.
He kind of looks like Trevor.
Kinda looks like Trevor.
The old soul, Trevor, in a young person's face.
I'm sure he loves plums like Trevor too. Yeah. So going into this game, like, offensive line is going to be better. To your point, Janet, like, I'm not too worried about this defense. Not that I think it's going to become a great defense. I just think Rodgers can overcome it. Also, I think they have the playmakers to be better. Once Darius Smith gets healthier, I would assume the pass rush gets better. And so moving on to this game, though, the best unit on the entire Lions, like, their strength of their entire team is clearly their offensive line.
Yep.
Even though their left tackle is out still, I believe. They moved Penei Sewell over there. But that's still a good offensive line. So with that being said, if the Packers still can't get pressure, it falls into the same Saints trap in terms of offense versus defense. We know DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams are good running backs. They'll be able to run the football. And Jared Goff needs to run the football to set up play action to be successful. So if we can't get pressure, Rodgers better score a bunch, because I think the Lions are going to be able to move the football.
For clarification, Lions drafted Jeff Okudah last year. He's out for this game, or he's hurt?
For the full year. I think he tore his Achilles. So, yeah, they have nothing in the back end.
Yeah. And it didn't matter if he was in, because Devontae absolutely torched him last year, and Okudah's like second game as a pro.
Right. Like, their best defensive player, not saying much, but their best one is out. So they could triple cover Devontae, and I think he's going to get his this game. I don't think they have any answer for it. But yeah, we can move on to score predictions, I suppose. Maybe Trevor will pop in here. Like I said, the Packers are currently favored by 11.5 points, and the over-under is at 48.5. My personal score prediction, I would say Packers 31, Lions 21. I think it's going to go over.
Interesting. I'm with the over 2 on that, and I'm also with the minus 11, but I'm thinking more in the realm of 35-12.
Okay. You think it's going to be full destruction?
I think it has to be.
You would think.
Right.
Packers up. I'm gonna say. I say 21-7. I'm not saying that it's gonna be close, but I just feel like they just got off a really bad game, and either they're gonna be super duper fired up, or they're gonna coast it. I don't know. I was in shock of this game. Check on your
Yeah.
Packer friends; they're not okay.
Like a
I,
lot of people were.
yeah. I mean, I could say that it's gonna be like 35-24, but then I don't know. I think it's gonna be more like a little bit closer. 21-7. Packers up.
It all like honestly for defensively, it does rely on that energy that Joe Barry's supposed to bring because the only thing the Lions have is energy. Because personnel wise, they're by far the worst in the entire NFL. But their head coach, like he talks about drinking 16 cups of coffee per day with espresso shots in each one and stuff like that. All he is energy. He's an electric factory, and he injects that into his teams. Not necessarily, X's and O's guy, but they're going to come out and they're going to hit you. They're not afraid of the Packers, and if the Packers come out flat and they come out with energy, it could go south quickly.
Right, and the Lions don't have anything to lose in this game, right? Everyone knows they're gonna lose. There's no reason why they don't come and blitz every single play or throw it deep every single play or anything like that. But to stay along with my bird metaphor, I would say that Dan Campbell is like the woodpecker of the NFL.
Woodpecker, like a road runner, something. Yeah, for sure. Joe Barry's definitely a seagull, though. I think you nailed that one. I think Trevor's Wi-Fi went out, so I don't have anything else to talk about for the Packers. Do you guys?
Should we do keys to the game?
Oh, yeah. Like, for me personally, I think it's just the same thing. We need to win at the point of attack. Clearly, we need to run the football well, and it starts with the offensive line. And if they get the lanes needed, even if pass protection sucks, as long as there's a threat of running the football, Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to escape the pocket enough to make plays. So offensive line, defensive line need to hold up. We need to play on their side of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and then mine's kind of just going off of that and getting Aaron Jones involved as however you can, whether it be screens, out routes, running the ball, whatever. Just get Aaron Jones the ball as much as you can this game.
I feel the same. Along with, honestly, A.J. Dillon did pretty good as well last game, considering he did play a good amount of time. I'm trying to remember. He did play a good amount of time, but I was really impressed whenever he got the ball. He did pick up a lot of yards. So I think Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are going to be kind of like, I guess, a two-headed monster. Last year we had the three-headed, and unfortunately we lost one head. So two-headed monster now.
I would assume both get involved quite a bit. To your point, though, Luke, I feel like they will lean on Aaron Jones just because he's more flashy. Like, he's the big play guy.
Yeah.
A.J. Dillon, I can't imagine he's going to break off a 50-yard run. He's just there to plow through people. And I don't know. What do you guys think about Kylan Hill? I almost feel like they need to get him incorporated as well. He's also just a big play guy.
Yeah, talk about energy. There's energy right there.
Yeah.
Like I said, when we drafted him, he reminds me of Christian Michael. When Christian Michael just get the ball, put his head down, and run straight. And hopefully he doesn't hit anyone. But if he does, that linebacker is probably going to end up on their ass. That's what I see out of Kylan Hill, too.
I kind of wanted to see a little bit more of him, too, just because I don't live in Wisconsin. So seeing preseason games here was I was basically like rigging passwords and cable lines and trying to with my Fire Stick and all that stuff. I think I only got to see the Texans game in like real time. So I want to see a little bit more of him just to kind of get a preview, a little bit of better preview of what he brings to the table.
And he's just super quick, physical guy.
Hi, Trevor.
Yeah, hey Trevor. What's up? Oh, he's glitching already. So the Packers drafted Amari.
End the show before you can say something.
Fucking damn it.
Is he there? Is he not there?
Yeah,
I think he's like me on Monday. He's a little bit behind.
You were so far behind. It was like 45 seconds. It was crazy.
Damn it.
There we got you.
I think he's good.
Oh,
Oh, we lost him again.
For Kylan Hill, like we brought in Amari Rogers to be that gadget guy to do jet sweeps and stuff, and obviously that he's just not that kind of player. I almost wonder if we could use Kylan Hill in a role like that, like a gadget guy, moving him around. He's clearly fast and athletic. I would love to see that.
it's like what was his name 2 years ago? Fast guy that we used in jet sweeps.
Not Tyler Irvin.
Yeah, Tyler Irvin.
Okay, that was last year, but yeah,
Okay, last year I couldn't think because I remember we got Tavon Austin last year or whatever. But
yeah, you sure did.
I don't know why we don't use Kylan Hill in a role like that. It seems perfect for him. Just get him out on the edge a little bit. Maybe get pushed out of bounds and runs into a big coach on the sideline and starts a fight and gets everyone all ready and going.
Right. Trevor, before we lose you, we gave our score
Am I
predictions
live?
already.
Can you hear
Yeah,
me
we got
now?
you.
Okay, let me say one thing right fucking now.
Okay.
I'm talking to you, Spectrum. Every single little bastard that has ever worked at Spectrum for in my life. You suck. You are the worst. I wish they had one of those rooms where you destroy things, but with your fucking employees in them. You are horrible. You are ridiculous. I hate everything you stand for. You know how bad you have to be at your job for me to hate you more than construction workers who take 20 years to pave a 1 foot stretch of road? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. On that point, they are the Royce Newman of internet. They can suck one. They can do a whole lot of other things, but I won't go to that. Luke, keep your damn thing to yourself because I'm probably going to leave in like 2 seconds. The score is going to be, you know what? Honestly, everything fucking sucks right now. 31-28 Lions, so at least one of my friends can be happy, okay? Because this offensive line is a sieve, just like Spectrum Wi-Fi. Nothing is good in life. Everything sucks. Life has no purpose. There we go.
Trevor,
It'd be funny if they would have cut him off right in the middle.
Yeah.
Trevor, I don't know if you heard when you were trying to
Obvious.
get back on, but we were talking about how Joe Barry is baby-faced and he looks like a big toddler. And he said it kind of looks like you. And I just...
He's gone.
Okay.
Nailed it. Okay.
I wanted to hear what he had to rant about for that one.
I'll just take that.
Spectrum was like, fuck you.
Yeah, pull the plug on this guy. On that note,
Trevor switched to AT&T. It's been the best ever. I switched to AT&T.
I also have Spectrum, and I can validate his anger. They do suck, but I'm good right now. But let's end the show here. I mean, I really don't think there's much to say about this matchup. We'll have more analysis on future matchups. This team's just really bad, and the Packers should respond with a massive game. And if they don't, then they should be criticized for it. Plain and simple.
Yep. I'm excited for this game. I'll be in attendance. I will report back to see if we get any Packer Lions fan fights, which are always fun to watch. I'll try to get some on film because I know next to me, the couple guys rows down, they like to fight the opposing fans. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely get a camera on them the whole time. If there is a fight and they don't get thrown out, I want a post-game interview with them, please.
All right, will do.
Okay, Janet, anything to leave us on?
I hope I get better soon because it has been cloudy. I've been cloudy as fuck in my head. I feel like, and I had just woken up also like 30 minutes before the show started. So I hope I get better soon because I want to be better on this show instead of dying all the time.
On that note, wait. You guys. No, yeah, Luke, go.
I had one more thing. I will be at the dentist tomorrow, so I may be getting my tooth fixed, but who knows? It'll be the third time I've been to the dentist in like the last week because I got my wisdom teeth out on last Friday.
Hey, also, if I go up, are we gonna do the Olympics? FlurrySports Olympics?
Maybe. In the winter, we'll see.
I'm gonna be up there for a whole week.
If we can get winter sports going, like we can do curling. I don't know what else we could do. Like
we can go to the curling club.
Yeah, I'm down with the curling club. Like there's plenty of those we can go. Maybe it'll just be a curling match.
I have a really good game that we used to play when we were in high school is when you have to get the roads really icy though. Someone drives and you hang on to the car door or handle and you see and then you let go and see how far you can slide.
Okay.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
That'll be one of the events. This seems like an off-air conversation that I can't be legally tied to. Okay, we'll be back next week. Later.
Peace.
Bye.